stray too far. Hi everyone, thank you so much for coming to today's pathway. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. For those of you who don't know me, you've probably seen emails from me. My name is Lynn. I oversee graduate advising, and I'm currently the 4+1 coordinator. So today's pathway is all about grad schools and what options we have for you here in ECEE. So unfortunately, a couple of the faculty weren't able to make it today, so I'll be presenting on the computer engineering program. Tony Mangert, one of our graduate advisors, will be presenting on the electrical program. And then later in our presentation, Dr. Pat Phelan will be presenting on the robotics program. And I'll also be doing 4+1 in the middle there. So let's start off with the computer engineering program. This is a joint program between the Computing Informatics and Decision Systems Engineering, ECEE, school and our program. So students take some computer science classes and some electrical classes. So if you've thought, I think I might be interested in some computer science classes or some of those look really interesting to me, this might be the program for you. So we encourage a wide variety of classes within the computer engineering program, not just electrical, not just computer science. We want students to take math classes and physics as well, because that makes you a very well-rounded computer engineer. So within ECEE, we have the electrical engineering concentration, where it's the computer engineering, electrical engineering program. And within ECEE, they have the computer engineering, computer systems engineering program. We recommend that students apply to the program that matches their background, because you'll have taken the prerequisites for the courses. So if everyone here is electrical engineering students, so if you're interested in this, we would recommend that you apply to the computer engineering, electrical engineering program. This program, you'll notice that there's a lot of overlaps between our three main programs that you guys are going to hear about today. So this one is very signals and systems based with hardware, computer programming, and machine learning. And so those are a lot of really hot topics right now that we know employers are looking for. So we encourage students to take those classes. These are the general areas that we kind of group our classes into. So VLSI, Architecture and Embedded Systems, that's a lot of the digital signal and processing circuits classes. Everyone here has taken 202? Hands, yes, 202, 333, 334, 335, 425, 525? No, okay, that's a graduate class. So that's one of our most popular areas, and currently one of our other most popular areas is autonomous systems and robotics, which does have a lot of overlap into the robotics program that you'll learn about later. We want students to take a good selection of classes between these areas. And we have a 4-page document on the computer engineering website that shows where we've placed the classes within each of these areas. And it's a degree requirement that you have to take at least 2 different areas. So you can't all just take it all in the multimedia processing area. You have to have a little bit of a mix, because the classes, they help each other in the long run, so that it all ties together. So what is a computer engineer? What do you guys think computer engineers do? This slide has some hints for you if you'd like to read off some of the pictures.
Race cars.
Race cars! Why do you think computer engineers are needed for race cars? Yeah?
I mean, I'm assuming that they're trying to make the cars more efficient in some ways, so this isn't like the 70s where you didn't have any computers in actually the car, so you have to interact between the electronics and the computer and everything else.
That's exactly it. Computers, like your car has so many computers in it, it's ridiculous. Someone programmed those, someone designed them. There's control systems in there as well. This specifically, this eco car, this was a project that I think was a joint project between 4 of the schools of engineering, and it's won a lot of awards. It's actually a really, really cool project. So if you guys are interested, just look up ASU Eco Car. Dr. Lena Karam was one of the lead faculty on it. She was one of our faculty and used to be the chair for the CEN program. So what else? Why do you think you need computer engineering for music? Yeah.
Well, music has a lot of different sound impulses, and you need to be able to process different audio signals and things in order to manipulate audio how you want to achieve.
Yeah. How do you manipulate audio? So that is some of our classes. We have, the digital signal processing classes. That is a huge factor in it. So that's where computer engineering can apply to not just something that you think is strictly engineering, music, right? So let's talk about the PhD program real quick. So students, did you guys all know that you can apply straight to the PhD program and that you don't need a master's? Oh, good. Seeing a lot of head nods. That's awesome. So you can do that. You can also apply to the master's. And if you're thinking, well, maybe I want the PhD in the future, I'm not sure, doing the 4+1 is still a good option because it can lead into the PhD. But if you have been involved in research and you know that you really want the PhD degree and you know what you want to do, just applying straight to the PhD program is a really great option. So I think we have the list of classes coming up. All students need to take for the CEN program ECEE 554, which is Random Signal Theory, and CSE 551, which is Foundations of Algorithms. So those are the two core classes. So has everyone here taken 350, ECEE 350? Yeah? If you really, really like that class, you might be kind of leaning towards this program because the CEN program is heavily based off of the signal processing content. So that's something to keep in mind. So here are our deadlines. They're also posted on the website. You guys are all going to have copies of the flyer, and it'll all be on the website. So is anyone graduating this spring? Yeah? Okay. So it's not too late. If you're like, Lynn has changed my life, I must now apply to one of these programs, but the deadline for fall was December 31st, that's okay. We are still happy to have your application. So don't worry. If any of you are ever in that situation where you're like, I think I missed the deadline, just come talk to us. We're happy to help you. For those of you that are thinking, okay, well, I'm going to be graduating in future semesters, I think I want to apply to multiple programs because Lynn changed my life, Tony's going to change my life, and Dr. Phelan's going to change my life. How do I decide? Apply to all of them. You only have to pay the one app fee, and then you get to decide.
Question.
Yes, question.
A couple quick questions on the PhD program.
Yes.
First of all, if you go into the program straight out of the bachelor's, would you be able to pick up your master's on the way to getting the PhD?
Yes, that is a great question. So we call that a master's in passing, in which you complete 10 classes, which is the requirement for a master's program, and the qualifying exam. So PhD students need to complete the qualifying exam, and for our programs, it's research-based. So it's very loosely interpreted to, are you qualified to do PhD level research? So if you look in the handbooks, there's not that much information because it's very individual. It depends on your research and your progress, and we want the student and the faculty to be coordinating on when are they ready to hold the qualifying exam, what should the content be, who's on the committee. So doing the 10 classes and the qualifying exam, you'll earn the master's in passing. That's a great thing to do. I recommend that to all of our direct PhD students. And it's okay if you get to that point and you're like, okay, this was good. I finished my classes, I did my research, but this really isn't for me. I don't want to continue on in the PhD program. That's fine. You can graduate out with the master's. Not a problem. We have students that do the master's in passing and then just continue on in their PhD just because it's a nice milestone to have and to list on your resume when applying for internships. But no matter what, we want you to be happy and successful in the program and graduate from us. Funding opportunities. So everyone is aware that we have TAs. You all have all taken lab classes in which you have a TA, correct? Okay, good, because everyone has taken 202. So We hire TAs for our lab-based classes, and they're the ones running the labs. We have a very select number of TAs that we can hire because it's based on enrollment, but we encourage all of our students to apply for a TA position. Faculty can also hire you as an RA, research assistantship. And between those two, there's different levels. So there's the 25% and the 50%. So 25% means that you're working 25% of a normal work week of 40 hours. So therefore, 10 hours. If you're 50% RA or TA, you're working, I was going to ask you guys, what is 50% of a work week? But Martin put it on here because he's nice. 20 hours, okay? It's either partial or full tuition benefits. And potentially health insurance paid for. Now here's our big one, the Dean's Fellowship. So the Dean's Fellowship is for domestic students only with high GPAs. It is guaranteed funding for 4 years, which is great, and it's a stipend of $30,000 a year, which is higher than a regular RA or TA. So it's guaranteed funding for 4 years. The faculty puts in 50% of the funding, and the dean's office puts in 50% of the funding. It's highly competitive because we have a lot of applicants, a lot of great students, but we only have so much money. So, in all the times that we've been talking to you guys about grad school and how important your GPA is, this is why. How do you set yourself apart? Having that high GPA, having fantastic letters of recommendation, having a faculty member nominate you for that. That's really important. So if you're thinking, I want grad school, but funding is an issue, start making those connections now with the faculty, because if you decide, I do want a PhD, you need to talk to them about funding. And the Dean's Fellowship is a great option, okay? We also have a couple of other funding sources. If you come to the pathways that will be about senior design, Dr. Pillay, the Electrical Engineering Graduate Program Chair, will come to that pathway and be talking more about funding options. So if you want more information, go to the pathway that's about senior design, because that's when Dr. Pillay was available. He couldn't make it today.
Can I add something?
Yes. Oh, man.
You're going to hear from me in just a moment, but we also had a graduate fellowships portal, all right, an online portal that you can apply to for graduate fellowships. And so anybody who's either a current graduate student or who has been admitted to a graduate program in engineering, right, should have gotten an invitation or will get an invitation. And I think it's going to be open until, I want to say, March 15th.
That's correct.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Can I mention, so when we review those, if you fill it out, it's very helpful to mention the fellowship that you're applying for and make sure that you're meeting some of those criteria. Sometimes people just fill it out without mentioning it, and it's hard to award it.
Yeah. So for the online students, we do have a graduate application portal that is specific to engineering, and all admitted and current graduate students will receive an email to submit their self-nominations for a couple of different fellowships, and making sure that you say which fellowship you're interested in is very important because they all have different requirements. So one of them, for example, the International Switching Symposium is very specific and says that it's for electrical engineering students focusing on telecommunications. So if you're like, I'm power all the way, I hated 350, I'm never taking a signals class again, I'm only going to do power, you are not eligible for that one because that's one of the eligibility criteria. So making sure that you're applying to the correct fellowships in general is good for you guys to know how to do, and looking at the eligibility criteria. We'll have time for questions at the end as well. Does anyone have any questions about the CEN program right now? Yes?
So I saw one of the slides, you needed prerequisite courses of 310 and 243, but those aren't on the EE major map.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to get those prerequisites, would you just add them on to the class load or find different spaces to place them in before you reach the point where you apply to the PhD program?
Potentially. So these are recommended prerequisites. Once you're in grad school, prerequisites are not hard and forced. It's a recommendation. So if you would like to take CSE 310, This can count as your upper division math, science, engineering course. You just let us know, and we'll submit the override request for you. All right? We have students that say, I don't want to take it. I've already completed that degree requirement. I just want to stick to exactly what I need to take because I'm paying for this. I'll learn that material on my own. And that is also a just fine option. All textbook copies, we should have a reserved copy at the library for every single class here at ASU. So you can take a look to see what's the syllabus, what are the main topics. I'm going to grab a copy of the book from the library and study up on it before you take the CSE 551 required core class. Does that make sense? Okay. Any other quick questions about computer engineering? All right, well, I'm going to hand this off to Tony, and she's going to talk about the electrical engineering programs. Oh, thank you. Which one is it? What did you label it?
Graduate options, ECEE graduate options.
Power, graduate school? Yeah. This one? Okay. Hello. Okay. Okay, here you go. Clip that on.
Thank you.
Some more.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hello. So I'm Tony, one of the other graduate advisors, and I'm going to talk about the ECEE graduate degree options, mainly electrical engineering, which you're all pretty familiar with, so I don't need to tell you exactly what it is. But these are all of our graduate offerings. There are quite a few and growing. So as far as the admission requirements, Lynn talked about the CEN ones, but each program has different requirements. So go on the website, make sure you know the requirements of the program you intend to take. But as a rule, the master's, you have to have 3.0 GPA. For the regular grad programs, for the PhD, it's 3.5. The good news is that we waive the GRE for all of you, for all of our grad programs except RAS. And there are no letters of recommendation required for the master's. So that's pretty good. But again, check your website of each different program to find out the exact requirements. Oh, we already talked about that. Those are the requirements for CEN, but Lynn talked about those. Okay, so electrical engineering. So when you first apply to electrical engineering, it forces you to pick a specialization area. So those are our 6 areas, and probably you've taken the pathways courses by then, and then you can decide, you have an idea of which one you want to do. And if you're doing the master's, there's a big MSE comprehensive exam in the end, and it'll be in one of those areas. So you want to make sure that you take enough classes in that area to be able to pass the comp exam. So for the MSE degree, it's just 10 classes, and the classes are 3 and 4 credits each. So you might have up to 40 credits if you take all 4 credit classes. And there are no enough classes to pass the comp exam. And if you decide to do a thesis, you can do that, and then it's only 8 classes and some thesis credits. You can do the program in 2 years, and you can do it online or in person. And this is good. Some of you may graduate, go get a great job, and then realize that your company has free tuition reimbursement. So you might come back anyway and do a free master's degree with us. You can do it online if you're not able to come to campus. You can take 1 course at a time, whatever you like. And just like CEN, EE also has a direct PhD, so you can go directly into the PhD program. Also, it can be completed within about 4 years as the average. And if you've already been working with a professor, maybe in senior design, or maybe you did honors thesis or anything like that, that's good to start those conversations now with professors. If you know that you want to do research and you know that you have a great interest in doing a PhD, you can start talking to professors now. It's not too early. And they may even say, oh, maybe you'll join my lab, do a PhD with me. Like Lynn said, most PhDs are fully funded. So it's a good opportunity if you're interested. And just like CEN, you'll get your master's along the way. Just comes in the mail after you're done with 10 credits. You can even walk at the graduation if you want to, but you don't have to. And that's all I have about electrical engineering. Did you have any questions? Nothing exciting? So it's not too late. If maybe you waited too long. Oh, Cheryl, please, yes.
Tony, in your opinion.
Last slide is this one. And so this is a picture of another example. So, these are these little toy cars, right? So this is actually a drone testing facility. This is brand new here at ASU. And like that says up there, it's actually the largest of its kind in academia, as it turns out. So it just kind of it's an indication of the kinds of support or what ASU is putting behind this field, because they consider it to be so important, and it's up and coming. All right, so with that, I'll stop here. And I'm going to leave right after we get done talking here. So maybe this is, if I can, I'd like to answer any questions, if you have any questions now. Yes, how about here?
If you had to relate it to usual electrical engineering pathways, which would you say the robotics most closely aligns with?
It's probably closer to controls, because the faculty involved in the program are really controls faculty. Yeah. Please.
Okay. If you wanted to get the master's in electrical engineering, but you wanted to do your research with, like he said, in controls in robotics, is that allowed?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. So that's strictly up to the individual faculty member, right? And so faculty who belong to this robotics group are also, they belong, their primary home is a different program, right? It's like, for instance, electrical engineering, say. So it's just a matter of you connecting with a faculty member and both agreeing upon a topic to work on.
I have a question.
Yes, please.
What about internship and job prospects?
Internship and job, that's a very good question. All right. So we've had a lot of discussion lately about internships, especially, about basically opening the doors, particularly for international students, to get internships in this field. And again, it's a new program, so there's literally no track record. All right, so I don't know. All right, I think ask me this a year from now, and I'll have a much better answer. Okay, yeah, much better answer. By the way, there was a question earlier in general about, should people get a master's degree, right? So there are some national numbers, right? And of course, as you expect, if you get a master's degree, yeah, there's going to be a bump in salary. How much? It depends, all right? You'll make more money, for sure, okay? The question is, okay, what kind of job are you trying to get? All right, a master's degree does qualify you perhaps for more interesting jobs, arguably. All right, than a bachelor's degree would. But again, that's a case-by-case thing, right? And then also people often ask about, should I just go straight through and get my master's degree right away? Or should I go out and work for a while, then come back and get a master's degree? And there's no one answer for that, right? It depends, on your circumstance too. So if you have a great job lined up, maybe you should do that, all right? Or maybe you should stick around and get the master's degree first. Or sometimes, like someone said, sometimes companies will pay for you to get your master's degree on a part-time basis. If they can do that, great. Take advantage of that. All right. Well, thanks for the pizza. Oh, one more. There.
Do you know how this program compares to, say, any other robotics program? So it seems like all of them are pretty good.
Yeah, one other one that I'm aware of is at Oregon State. All right. We're the only one that I know of that is this interdisciplinary, that involves so many faculty from so many disciplines. And by the way, we're in the process now of adding a biomedical engineering concentration as well. And so my goal, hopefully, is actually that it would also include civil and environmental engineering too, to take into account autonomous vehicles. So eventually I see this expanding across the entire college. Right? And I probably shouldn't forget this microphone that I'm wearing. All right.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Have a great day.
Let's see, which one is it? 4 plus 1. Okay. So we're going to kind of do a wrap up here with 4 plus 1 because we have 4 plus 1 options with all 3 of our degrees. And we can talk broadly about a master's, 4 plus 1, and any other questions that you guys have. So quick wrap up of the degrees that you just saw. So we have the EE-MSE, EE-MS, which is thesis-based, direct PhD, the CEN direct PhD, and the robotics. That is just the quick rundown of what's required from you once you're in the graduate level program. So just the classes, the culminating experience, and average time to completion. But 4 plus 1 is a little bit different. And the main difference here is this average time to completion. So the 4 plus 1 program, it's called that because it's designed so that you can complete the master's in 1 year, which is really cool because you're sharing classes between your bachelor's and your master's. And the classes that you're sharing are your technical electives, for those 400 level classes. So you have to take them anyways for your bachelor's. If you could get graduate credit and count them towards your master's, why wouldn't you? If you join the 4 plus 1 program and decide I don't actually want grad school, that's okay. You still had to take those classes for your bachelor's degree requirements anyways, so nothing lost there. It's totally fine. It really just depends on which program do you want. And looking at those, the differences in the programs and the required classes will really help you decide. So like Pat showed you, the robotics program has 2 mechanical classes and 2 EE classes that are controls based. So if you look at those and say, I don't want to do those ever. Those sound miserable to me, not for me. You don't have to, that's not the program for you. I guarantee you we have a different program for you. So take a look at the programs to see which one fits best for you. The EE program is a little bit harder to narrow down because there aren't the required classes. But there are the 6 areas of specialization, and at the end of the program, you take the comprehensive exam that's based on your area of specialization. And it's based off of the coursework for that area. On our website, we have our comprehensive exam guide that lists everything out by area of specialization, and you can see what classes are going to be on the comprehensive exam. So if you go through that guide and you're like, I hate that class, I don't want that class, that sounds miserable, that sounds okay, but maybe not, go to the next page. It'll be a different area of specialization. So keep checking, read through all the classes, because the thing about the master's is that there's no flow chart, there's no DARS, there's nothing that says what you have to take. We basically just need you to take 10 classes and maintain a 3.0 GPA and pass the comprehensive exam. What you do in those 10 classes is your choice. You are now designing your program. You guys had to get through all the crappy chemistry and physics and English 101 and English 102 and all of your HU and SB and SG classes, and now you get to do what you want. So it's a little unnerving at first because it's not what you're used to. You're used to having your flow chart and being told take this class in this order in this semester. But you get to design your own program with a master's, a 4 plus 1, or PhD. And so that's a really exciting thing. Here are the application requirements for each of the programs. The EE 4 plus 1 requires a 3.5. CEN requires a 3.0. Robotics is a 3.5 as well. And these are hard requirements. So if you're like, you've looked at the programs, you've narrowed it down, you really want the robotics one, but you got a 3.48. Let's talk still, okay? Maybe there's something you could add in session B, a 1-credit salsa dancing class. Okay? Get your GPA up. Stress management, stuff like that, okay? I want you to get the degree that you want to get. And if there's any way I can help you do that, we're going to do that. So if you don't meet the requirements for 4+1, and mathematically you're like, I'm not going to hit that required GPA by the time I would be sharing classes when you're in those 400 level classes, as long as you still have the 3.0, because that's the minimum GPA requirement to get into the regular master's program, you can still join a graduate program with us. So I want to talk to you guys about what your grad school goals are and how we can help you achieve them. So no matter what, you should apply the semester when you're about to start senior design. How many of you are starting senior design in the fall? Couple? Okay. So if we haven't talked about 4+1, now's the time to do it. I would like all applications received by the middle of summer, but we can push it closer towards fall if we need to, but now's the time. All right? How many of you are already in senior design? No? Okay. So this is just for your reference. You can read through it later. It's just the important degree requirements that we've already talked about, that you have to pick your area of specialization, or that you have to take these core required classes. And I have links, so this PowerPoint will be posted on the website as well, so you can link to all the websites, and average time to completion. So the program is designed for you to complete in 1 year. It's okay if you don't. I have a lot of students that say, I have, financial goals. I'm completing this program in 1 year. I'm going to do it. Okay, I'll help you do it. In 1 semester, you're going to take 4 graduate level classes. And that might be a little bit hard. But if you have your priorities straight and you know why you're doing this, you can get through it. So if you don't want to take 4 graduate level classes in a semester, you don't have to. It's fine. My ultimate goal is for you to get the degree. I want you to be happy and okay and able to graduate in this program. Okay, logistics. I said sharing a couple of times. Sharing classes. What does that mean? So sharing means the classes are counting towards both your bachelor's and your master's. Reserving is when you're taking a graduate level class while you're an undergrad and using it just for your master's in the future. So it doesn't count towards your bachelor's. This is not like reserved seats in a class, okay? So when you try and register for a class and it says you can't because you don't meet the reserve, that's not what this is. This is just saving it for future use, okay? So the basic premise of the 4+1 is that no matter what, no more than 12 graduate level credits can be shared or reserved between a bachelor's and a master's. The majority of our students just do sharing classes and not reserving, and that's what we want to see because you have to take those classes anyways for your bachelor's. Why not share them? We do have some students that they're either applying late to the 4+1 or they were ahead in their schedule and took their 400 level technical electives and they don't need them now, and then they can use them as reserved. That's a really important thing to remember because graduate tuition is different than undergraduate tuition. Any class that you take while you're an undergraduate student, you are paying undergraduate tuition. So that's how you're saving a lot of money right there. You're paying undergraduate tuition for a graduate level class. Also, if you're receiving financial aid, it'll pay for these classes. Once you're in grad school, financial aid options, there's not that many. So if you can get it paid for now, why not? So that's the difference between sharing and reserving. For the EE 4+1, we have a very strict rule that only 3 classes can be shared between the bachelor's and the master's. So if you have picked the circuits area, which all has 4 credit classes, you're going to share 3 of them, and that's your 12 credits. If you pick the power area, that all has 3 credit classes, you can share 3 classes and then have room for a reserved class. because that'll be 9 plus 3 equals 12. Okay? Does everyone understand the differences between the categories? Okay. So, no matter what, sharing and reserving cannot exceed 12 credits. So part of the 4+1 application process, we carefully go over what undergraduate degree requirements do you have left? How many classes are you sharing? How many are you reserving? How many credits are you going to be in for the next year? Is it 22 credits a semester? Because that sounds awful. Like, what can we do to avoid you being miserable? So we look at it, you know, holistically. Because graduate level classes, they are a bit harder. And I know in electrical engineering, our undergraduate students are used to taking a high credit load every single semester. But if you don't have to be go, high load, stressed all the time, why not? So if we can make it just a little bit easier and spread it out between the last year in your bachelor's and potentially even into the master's, if that's going to make you happier and make you more successful, we're going to look at those options. So, yes, question.
What if when you get into the program, you have taken all your tech electives, but there are some 400 level classes you'd like to take? So in other words, you want to take a shared class while you've completed all the tech electives for your BSc?
So at that point, I would say we should just do the reserve. So all of our 400 level classes are combined with a 591 section. Are any of you in 400 level classes right now? Yeah? So like first day of class, you went in and you sat down and you're like, who are all these people? I've never seen any of these people. I've been at this school for 3 years. Who are you? They're my grad students. They're the first semester grad students taking the 591 classes. So in that case, if you've completed all your technical electives and all of your degree requirements, I would say we should do reserved classes. So you take them at the graduate level. They're not counting towards your bachelor's, and they'll count towards your master's in the future.
So the 591 is a reserve?
It can be.
Oh, it can be.
Yeah. Any graduate level class can be. Yeah.
Does the last year of your bachelor's, can it be that extra year in grad school, can it be separated? Does that to be continuous?
So ideally, we would like it to be continuous because that is the intent of the 4+1 program. I did have a student who had to take a break for a family emergency, so he deferred his graduate admission out a semester and is now coming back to finish the +1 portion. So if that's something you're interested in, definitely talk to us and let's see what we can work out. You had a question? Yeah.
Yeah, how do the 400 level, upper level sharing, how does that work for honors credit? Because aren't all graduate classes honors credit? So
Yes, they are. Who's honors? Yes! Oh my God, you guys, you should just do 4+1 because it's going to make your honors life so much easier. So much easier. Graduate level classes count for honors credit. Your senior design can also count for honors. Why write a separate thesis when you're already working on a very large program? Why take additional classes and credits when you can get honors credit for them by just taking the 500 level version? It's the smart thing to do. So, and the other thing is, if you start the 4+1, take your graduate level classes, like I said earlier, and you're like, I don't want grad school right now. I actually just got this fantastic job offer, and they're gonna pay me $1.2 million a year to be Jeff Bezos' personal assistant. It's fine, I'll do it. That's fine. You had to take the classes anyways to get your bachelor's degree. It's okay. But we have had students in the past that for semesters, I was like 4+1, and they're like, no. And then next semester I'd be like 4+1, no. And then all of a sudden I see that they're admitted to the master's program for the fall. What's going on here? Well, I didn't think I wanted grad school, but I've decided that I do now. Oh, you don't have any shared classes, so now you have to take the full 10. It would have just get it over with. Take the shared classes anyways. You can drop out if you want. It's totally fine. But if they're going to count towards your bachelor's, you might as well.
It's like a car. You can buy a used car for the amount of extra money you spent too.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yes, you can. How are you going to get to your personal assistant job? Jeff Bezos is very demanding. You better have a car. Okay. Quick difference. So it looks like the same slide. One line is different. The CEN program allows 9 credits to be shared, not 3 classes, 9 credits. So if you're interested in the CEN or the robotics 4+1, because it has the same rule, let's carefully work to find all the 3 credit classes possible for you to take to maximize your sharing and reserving. Okay? Same thing. It's basically the same slide, only 3 letters changed. Okay, how and when to apply. So I wrote this very lovely website that people sometimes read. All the applications are on there, and it links out to each of the program's websites with important information about the degrees. You download the application, and if you're like, this is a blank form and it is weird to me, that's fine. Come talk to me. It's not weird to me. We'll fill it out. No big deal. Or if you download it and you're like, I know exactly what area of specialization I want, I know exactly which classes I want, fill it out. And you go get a faculty member to sign it. And that is a very important requirement for the 4+1. You have to have a faculty member sign your application. You make that conversation what you want it to be. If you know exactly what you want to do, you've got your life planned out, and when you graduate, you're going to get this type of job in this field. Super. Just go in and ask for a signature. But this is also your opportunity to talk to the faculty and ask them any questions you want. Anything you want. If you have an interest in a very specific topic, go talk to the faculty and ask them which classes you should take for that very specific topic. I am not an electrical engineer. I cannot tell you what classes to take based off specific topics, but the faculty can. If you are interested in jobs and internships in that field, go talk to the faculty. They've all worked in the industry. So you make that conversation what you want, but no matter what, you have to get a signature. How many of you are in like 333 or 5 with Barnaby right now? You'll notice over the next couple of weeks, students will just come up with their forms and he'll just like sign and sign and sign and sign. That's fine, you can do that, but I'm giving you the opportunity to like talk to them. Okay? So that's also the other thing. If you're like, I think I want master's, but maybe PhD, go talk to the faculty. They can give you more information about what the PhD program is like and the research that you're going to do and how you should do the PhD program because it'll change your life. Okay? Once you've got that all filled out or not filled out and you have questions, you come see me. I am currently the 4+1 coordinator. Annalisa is also working on 4+1 stuff right now with me. So you can find me, you can find Annalisa, you can email us, you can make appointments. I request that you don't send carrier pigeons with your messages because they poop everywhere. Smoke signals are okay though. So just find us. If you have questions, we're here to help. We do also have 4+1 drop-in advising on the 26th, so in a couple of weeks from 2 to 3 in this building, 3rd floor, room 305. Just pop on by. You don't have to be there for the full hour. If you've got a free couple of minutes and you've got some questions, just come on by. Let's talk. All right. Do you guys have any questions? Yes?
So for the MS,
Yes.
I saw that there's no GRE required and no letters of recommendation.
Mm-hmm.
So that means if you reach the GPA requirement, is it like auto-admit or is it still like auto-listed?
In. Admitted. You want to go to school here? We'll have you. 3.0 GPA. That's all you need to be admitted into the master's program. Yes?
Is any of this offered online?
Yes. So the MSE is offered online. The MSE, so the CEN and the robotics program, they are not offered online, but the MSE is. My one caution against that is that the controls area of the MSE program is not offered online. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So if you're interested in controls, you'll want to be in person either for the EE or for the robotics program. Yes?
In case we have online students watching this video, 4+1, is that available yet online?
Yes, it is. Online 4+1. So really it's not 4+1, it's 4 plus whatever you need. Online students typically take one class at a time, so it can stretch out a bit. there is an additional fee. And so that's why if you are an online student and you want to talk about 4+1, please email me because the funding is different. And the additional fee is $1,206 on top of regular tuition and fees. So I've got some students who are happy to pay that. I've got some students who aren't, but you don't know until you ask. Yes?
If you take 400 level class before you're in the 4+1, can you still share those, or do you have to take those classes while you're in the program?
So you can't share anything that you took before being admitted to the program. But that's okay, I've got plenty of classes for you to share. You can share the 400 level classes as the 591 version, or you can share full graduate level classes. So 425 is the prereq to 525. And those are two important courses for the circuits area in EE. So if you've already done 425, and now you're looking to see, well, what can I use as my shared classes? You could do 525. Any graduate level class can be shared. I just want to make sure you have the prereq, so we always talk about that. Yes, Annalisa?
Shared and paid for at the undergraduate, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Saving time and money. Yes.
I think you answered this already. No GRE even for RAS.
Nope. Oh. No, I think they changed that.
Say again?
I think the GRE was waived for USA Bet accredited. Yes. No GRE. Don't take a silly test. The GRE is not fun. Do you guys remember taking the SAT? It's just like that, but on a computer. It's not a fun time.
So that means that if we did do 4+1 RAS, we would have to take the GRE
No.
to do RAS.
Nope, no GRE.
In the previous slide, GRE waived for all except RAS on the other.
Because I forgot to update it, sorry. Okay. No GRE, I promise. I promise. No GRE. Thank you for catching that, I'll update that.
The rules
Yes.
have been changing very fast.
Yeah.
Would doing a thesis with the 4+1, is that something that would eventually get approved by the grad school?
Bob,
I'm stretching, I missed the question.
when will the EE MS thesis 4+1 be approved?
As soon as the form is complete and reviewed.
We're working on it. We're working on it. So if you're interested in thesis and you're interested in 4+1, you might want to consider the CEN or the robotics program, because thesis is already approved for those two programs. We are working on getting the approval for the EE thesis 4+1. All right? Yes.
When doing the 4+1, if you're wanting to count the major GPA, do you find that on the DARS?
Yes.
Is that where you find it?
Does everyone know where to find your major GPA? Okay, so the major GPA can be used for the EE 4+1 only. Okay, everything else is cumulative. So if you've got a lot of transfer credits, your cumulative GPA might be different than your major GPA. Okay, so double check your GPAs if you're not sure. And if you're still not sure, come talk to us.
And that
Yes.
major GPA includes transfer credits?
It does. Yeah, so if it's a couple of math, physics, some of the lower level stuff. How are we doing on time? We're at 1 o'clock, you guys. 1:01. I've stolen a minute extra of your life, and I'm so sorry. So if you've got any other questions, come to the drop-in advising, or come find us. Advising's on the second floor. I do walk-ins. You can generally tell if I'm there just by listening, because I'm loud. Okay? Thanks for listening, guys.